Hello, guys, and welcome to Writer's Lunch today. We're going to talk about calibrating the apocalypse. What would your favorite method of world destruction be? And a bunch of examples, history, things that are going on today, how things come back and forth, and just different versions of it. So hopefully you get some good recommendations for books to read or thoughts about building your own apocalypse, in case you're interested in writing stuff like that. I have today with us as well AP Hawkins and Shannon Winton. Feel free to jump in and make your thoughts known on what's cool, what's not cool for you. Other ones that this references, because of course I could not get to all apocalyptic fiction. And let's see what apocalypse works for you for sure. So as I hit this, it's going to go to the strange one where it's the background first, but that is perfectly fine as long as it lets me.
It looks like the apocalypse is happening in the Old West based upon that font.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Calibrating the apocalypse, there are just so many different ways. So let's see what you like, what you're interested in, and all the different ways that you can go about it. So why do apocalyptic novels and media exist in the first place? A lot of times it is how the first world wants life to be hard. And when I talk about Mary Shelley, we'll get into a bit of how this Industrial Revolution was a big part of making it popular. Do not forget, of course, that one of the earliest ones, the rapture out of the Bible, is an apocalypse as well. So this has been going on forever. It's in mythology, it's in folklore for sure. But our contemporary examples are often about how we want things to be more difficult. We also want life to have tangible meaning. And in this top corner right here, I have a picture from a Soviet grocery store in 1990. Barely anything left. Maybe there's some turkey necks up in there, and that's about it. And we sometimes feel like that would focus our lives, because just underneath that, with the picture of the guy who's absolutely addicted to the internet, we're playing life on easy mode. Most of us in this talk today have a stable food source, income, and housing, which definitely might not be the case for everybody in America, everybody watching this, etc. But it is often kind of the basis and where all of a sudden apocalyptic things start coming up. We want to enjoy the simple things in life. We want to look at things in the world and say, okay, this is what's important to me. And it's hard to do that when you have so much stimuli, so much things going on, and it feels like the everyday things in your life take over and push to be in the way of what you might consider your life should be focused on. Another consideration as well, this person protesting in South Africa, everyone is a foreigner somewhere. A lot of times apocalyptic fiction is something that has happened in other places in the world, and yet by projecting that onto a first world country or where you live or someplace you're familiar with, you're just changing the mode. Oftentimes it is an apocalypse that is relevant to someone else and would give them PTSD to read about it. But in a distanced way of looking at things, you're not affected by it, and you can imagine it and imagine the rosy things about something terrible happening. So
I want to add something in, if you don't mind.
Please.
You said I could. So this is Shannon. But one of the things that I think, if you go back to your previous screen that you said, like, enjoy the simple things in life, I think there's an aspect of this too, this everyman aspect of a lot of apocalyptic fiction, where you aren't focused on the person who maybe has the skill set that gets the highest paying thing. You're focused on that everyman who has the capacity to, say, like, build a wheelbarrow or do things with their hands that maybe our current society doesn't value the way that some of us or some readers think it should. And so not necessarily that the first one wants to be hard, but if you've been raised to think that certain aspects of your personality are beneficial or good or better than other people, maybe. And that's kind of judgmental, but that you should be valuing these sort of masculine traits, the capacity to grow your own food, to slaughter your own animals, to like look at a circumstance and know when to jump out. It's just little stuff like that maybe is getting left behind because those things don't actually show up in our current society, that they've sort of been left behind as skill sets that are appreciated. Doing apocalypse fiction where that stuff is appreciated and necessary for survival is a way to have some escapism that actually shows or reflects you and some of your values too.
For sure. And I wanted to look at kind of prepper culture in the beginning of this and realized, maybe there's a chicken or an egg thing with prepper culture. Did the idea of an apocalypse coming first, or did the idea of wanting to be a survivalist come first? Going back and forth in that, and I kind of decided that probably prepper culture came later. And so people wanting to prepare for that, or more conservative elements of society and how that fits into apocalyptic fiction, is not the majority.
I don't know that you necessarily have to go the full gambit to prepper, but say you have somebody who's a mechanic that knows how to put together a car, once it's been broken. And in all honesty, we don't value that as a society very much. Well, if you have somebody who can work with their hands in that book, you can relate to them in a way that you may not to characters in other types of fiction, because that reflects more of you. So I don't want to go full gambit prepper, but again, just valuing sort of the blue collar skill sets that our white collar society doesn't, might be a better way to say it.
Definitely understand. And for sure, how can I put this? The everyman is often the main protagonist in apocalyptic fiction, but there are definitely some examples as well of a genius scientist or a president or something like that being the person who is the main POV in apocalyptic fiction. But for the majority, it is somebody who is not the main person, and that's kind of a hero's journey thing of rejecting the call is baked in to so much apocalyptic fiction. I can't, save the world, and then the plot unfolds from there for sure. So a little note: these are not apocalypses. When it is just extremely hard to live, or when there is a fascist takeover, as in Man in the High Castle by Philip K. Dick in 1984. They're not apocalypses. Society still functions. It sucks, though. The mutant named Apocalypse, and even the movie named after Apocalypse, did not involve an apocalypse. As well as the Petite Mort, which is much more of a literary fiction trope, and it is the kind of book that make you want to contemplate suicide. Tess of the D'Ubervilles was another example I had in here, and then went with a more contemporary example, A Little Life, which the two of them, and especially A Little Life, are well known as extremely difficult to get through. Describe terrible things happening to the protagonists and end in suicide or incarceration. But it is a little bit of this: your life is totally falling apart. It is a small apocalypse. Now, we have contemporary fears, and as time goes on, they change for sure. The Last Man by Mary Shelley is basically a book that starts with a small group of people, and then as the story goes on, it gets down to just the singular person being left, the last person on Earth. But it starts with a pandemic halfway across the world in India that is spreading everywhere, and they're like, it'll never get to us in Western Europe. This is that first world versus the rest of the world kind of the way of looking at things, and then it does, and it starts killing people. The honest thing about The Last Man is that, not like Frankenstein or anything, saying, this is potentially the first of science fiction novels, Frankenstein. The Last Man is most definitely not the first apocalyptic fiction of its time period. It actually came at the end of about a 10-year period of people writing apocalyptic fiction about the end of society, and was lambasted at the time for being passé, for not being terribly interesting, because people have been doing this already for the past 10 years. It's terribly interesting to me. When you get to the mid-50s, 1950s, and Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, it's about nuclear winter. We're headed there. And this is one of those apocalypse narratives that has the disaster at the end, and it fades to black with you essentially knowing in this world where it's existing, then the world will be destroyed. Day after tomorrow, climate. This, I believe, was around 2005. I could be wrong. But this novel and a bunch of other ones over the past 25, 30 years or so have been about climate change. We're looking at these contemporary fears as the collapse of the Soviet Union has proven that nuclear winter might not be our number one thing that we have to worry about. So the plots of them, very often extremely simple. Save the child, or save the woman, or save the last person is so prevalent in so many of these, to where you're taking an apocalyptic situation, it's world encompassing, and you're making it about a very small amount of people, 1 or 2 people. The girl with all the gifts is the one girl who is resistant to the zombie virus, and so therefore they have to save her in order to make a vaccine and save the world. Miracle solution, I definitely remember this episode so much from being a child, which is when the Smurfs have a bug that bites one of them, and it goes from one to the next, just like a pandemic, basically. And Papa Smurf there is holding the vaccine, basically, that he made, the treatment that he made. And in the end of this episode, he is the last one to be bitten and turn purple. But his batch of miracle formula is caught in a burning house that crashes over and turns into a giant cloud, and everyone turns back into regular Smurfs. But in that very last, second of he got bit, so there are 0 regular Smurfs left. Who is going to save them now? It's that inversion right at the end, like super close to it. Morally perfect. And I think this goes to a little bit of what you were saying as well, Shannon, with kind of, you want to see your own morals set in an apocalyptic situation. You were talking about a mechanic, but I'm putting this into moral kind of categories. And The Day the Earth Stood Still film from the 1950s, as well as a remake in 2008 with Keanu Reeves, is about us destroying the planet. And this alien society comes down and says, you know what, stop destroying your planet or we will stop you from doing so. But a boy in this is basically a open vessel, is a morally perfect, and shows the alien that humans can be good. Now, escape and survival, totally important as well. The passage is an interesting twist on the zombie apocalypse kind of story, because it is vampire apocalypse story, but they kind of act like zombies and they take over the world, and the humans are huddling in small areas and trying to stay safe. So it's related, but just getting through the book, surviving to the end, and this is the first of a trilogy, is kind of the point of this. They're not able to turn back the clock, change things, save society. They are just trying to get through. So those are kind of the 4 ones that go through it. But what does an apocalypse story need that others do not? You need a scientific or historical background. There's definitely some info dumps in apocalypse movies and novels. I just watched Contagion last night, and it was interesting when I noticed about a third of the way through the movie that there was a character writing on a whiteboard, and then it went to a long passage of like different people doing things in scientific settings, and it was just kind of explaining how this pandemic is going and where it came from, and they have to hash all of that out. In the bottom corner right here, DMZ is a great one about it, written during the George W. Bush administration, but very much potentially about our near future, our Trump existence 2016 to 2020, and red and blue states splitting up. And so there was a civil war in this novel between the two sides, and Manhattan was declared the DMZ. It was shut off from everywhere else, and it's become this post-apocalyptic, almost feral society, as it is not claimed by one side or the other. Wide-ranging scope, The Last of Us, another one with the zombie kind of apocalypse, but in this case from a fungus instead of from a bacteria or an alien, is going from one place to another. It starts off in Boston, they end up in Wyoming, they're going from place to place, lots of different settings. And other ones like World War Z definitely fit into this of jumping from place to place. Betrayal and humans acting bad. There's always the secondary or even primary problem with an apocalyptic novel, which is that humans get in the way of themselves constantly. Stephen King's The Stand very much shows this as well. And a near escape from disaster. Does the last person on Earth actually succumb to being turned into a vampire zombie in I Am Legend? He very nearly does. You almost see the end of it as well, the end of all society, but it does come back. And it could be that save the girl who actually, almost gets captured or taken away. And how do the protagonists save her? So when you're doing this, you want to think about, for sure.
I want to soapbox a little bit about I Am Legend, because that's not the way the book goes. If you do want to go back and read the book, the movie from, I think, like the 50s or 60s with Vincent Price is really hard to watch, because Vincent Price as like a normal person does not compute. But it follows more to the actual book.
And it's a short story, yeah.
I think, yeah. I mean, I think we would consider it a novella now, but it was a short novel, if I remember correctly. Point is, though, in the original IP, the character, like the main character, is increasingly vicious to the zombie characters. Essentially, like, he'll trap them and murder them. Like he's got bear traps and crap like that to keep him away from his house or whatever, and the locations that he has stored food and whatnot. And so he's considered by them, because he doesn't realize that they can think, but he is considered the monster. And by the end of it, he recognizes that this society of different kinds of people that are not like him anymore have moved past him, and that he is this relic of more violent days. And essentially, I would say he dies, even though he's already dying in the story. But he dies because he recognizes that he's no longer relevant.
Yeah, so the monsters are much less zombies and much more like vampires, and in the book. And it is important that, like, this treatment of otherness, right there. In the movie, they're just these mindless things. They hint a little bit at them being intelligent, but in the book, it's much more of he doesn't realize that they're people.
Yeah. He doesn't see them as being legitimate, like fully functional, or having thought processes the way he does. They are lesser.
Right. And so it's really a more thoughtful book than it is a movie. Although I do like the movie, it's very action packed. But yeah, the apocalypse factor of it is different when you look at it through that lens.
Yes, and would not fit with my plot right here, which was the near escape from disaster thing. But yes, very different in the original and the book, but kind of flipping on its head, because it's an apocalyptic novel, but he's the bad guy, that comes up occasionally, but not so often. Usually the humans is very human centric in terms of apocalypses. We're always trying to save ourselves. And so I do love that perspective that I Am Legend in the book and the original movie brings to kind of the genre. So you'll have to decide, what kind of apocalypse is it? What are you looking for to destroy the world? And if you are figuring this out, there's another way of looking at it as well, which is combine them. Have 2 or 3 things going on at the same time. You can definitely have a zombie novel with a freeze of the entire universe, a freeze of the planets. So, another consideration as well. How is that in my way? It's totally in my way. Here we go. How bad is your apocalypse? So, is it most humans, all life on Earth, or the planet blows up? So Severance by Ling Ma is a character who's a mid-level person in an office in New York City, and barely even notices that there's less and less people around. She's not watching the news, and all of a sudden realizes, okay, an apocalypse has killed 90% of Manhattan, and then she escapes from there, and the story goes on with who these survivors are, but it's recreating a society. Terminator 2, kill all humans. That's the MO of the Terminators for sure. Skynet is coming for us all, and ChatGPT shall herald their Terminator. The Andromeda strain, which tries to kill all life on Earth, and is one of those as well where you have only 2 humans, one very old, one very young, who are able to survive this disease. And then they are almost blown up by like an automated system set up by humans that would totally destroy everything. And in the end, the Andromeda strain goes away. just goes away like COVID, like it's the Omicron. It's not as bad as it was. It's in the upper atmosphere instead of down at Earth. Okay, we're fine with that. Or Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and just literally blowing up the Earth. Satirical apocalypses, especially in the vampire and zombie way, come about, but not too many in other ways as well. We'll see if this latest of Last of Us and things getting really popular makes some funny things get greenlit in Hollywood, perhaps, about apocalypses. 3 ones that are definitely not very funny. There is another way to think about it, which is your apocalypse is not at the end of the novel, it was the beginning. So the whole thing is what happens after the apocalypse. And this is people putting society back together, fighting with different ways of looking at society. Station 11 has a almost positive. There are definitely some tensions going on in there in different groups, but after an apocalypse kills off, let's say 85-90% of humans, they put back society and it has a lot of hope to it. So that's a very interesting one for sure, and very different from Mad Max, where anyone in the society who's trying to survive in this desertified world of Australia, which started off as a desert anyway, is vicious, is fighting. And although there is some morality to it as well, for sure, it's a violent society all around. And then you have The Road by Cormac McCarthy, which is kind of a difficult read for sure, written very differently. Was inspired by some time that he had out near El Paso in West Texas and seeing fires on a hillside and thinking, well, what if this just started happening everywhere? And you lost croplands, you lost cities and things like that. And how would you put it back together? But it's one of those stories that is incredibly small, just the character and the child. And it is man versus nature. So in other ways of wanting to harken back to earlier modes of society, we are not looking so much at a man, like having a plot. And by man, I mean anyone, any human for sure. But you are looking at it as in man versus nature for sure. Here we go. Let's look at all the apocalypses. Jump down the tube. So we have Apocalypse by Fire and Drought Desertification, extra solar as well. Octavia Butler is kind of a society falling down. A Parable of the Sower, and that is part of a trilogy as well, is California when things are falling apart in society. Croplands are failing, political upheaval, all of these all at once, and it plays into it, the drought, very much so. Tank Girl, hilarious comic, English writer from the early 90s. And this is a post-apocalyptic. Society still exists to a degree. It's a comic, so you can jump back and forth from going to the beach and having margaritas to fighting in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, within just a couple of pages or so. And Cixin Liu's The Wandering Earth, where the sun is expanding so fast it's going to burn up the Earth if we don't move it. And so they have to strap some rockets onto the Earth and move the Earth, which is a very interesting plot device for sure. Floods have totally killed us so many times, and they will in the future as well. So things like Geostorm, a very devastating flood. This is where satellites above the Earth are attacking the Earth. They're supposed to control the weather, and they just start malfunctioning. Civilization Level in the Drowned World by J.G. Ballard is kind of an older book, I do believe from the 60s, which is way after an apocalypse has happened, and the entire Earth is just kind of, what can I say, Jurassic level. So it's all swamps and super warm and everything, and what kind of, life, both human and otherwise, is still on the Earth, hundreds and hundreds of years into the future. And another book that I just read recently, which is A Waterworld. Going back to the movie Waterworld, I did not want to cite that because I had read this and it's more recent and it's much better. But Waterworld is a hilarious example of there's no more land. And what does that cause? So The Past is Red is all about characters living on the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And it is very much a satire, very much making fun of all this, but also kind of heartbreaking. So I'm not going to put it in the funny satire vibe. It's satirical of our society today, and yet also pretty heavy for sure. Disease. So many So many novels out there. We are afraid of disease. We have been since Mary Shelley, and we will continue to be, especially after a few years of COVID really throwing a wrench into all of society. I did look it up, and 6.8 million people, I believe, were killed by COVID. That's a lot. That is not 1% of the world, but it's close. So you have things like World War Z and Feast, which are Feed, which are zombie ones. World War Z is told in this different way of looking at it. In some of these apocalyptic ones, go that other route of writing letters, of having press releases, having articles out of newspapers that are from this post-apocalyptic world, and it's told through fractured ways of looking at things. Feed, just underneath that, says Mira Grant. Actually, that's Shannon McGuire, who uses about 3 different names as an author, is after a zombie apocalypse, society still survives. And the feed to it is not only referring to zombies, but also the fact that the main characters are reporters that are following someone who's running for president. So it's got some politics thrown in there as well. Killing some humans, totally popular. Contagion is a great example of getting it right, getting all the science right, getting so much that, it's kind of difficult to watch. Especially was during COVID times when we were in lockdowns, when this was so similar. But even the aftermath of how Contagion ends with, it has evolved into a virus that is not nearly as virulent as the original. We're looking at that with Omicron. It's still out there, but it is not doing the same things that it was. And Wanderers, which is where some certain people, not everybody in the world, gets a compulsion to walk. And so what happens when society, similar to the leftovers, like 2% of society just starts walking west. Family and friends come, people get freaked out, the political implications, the loss of productivity, and everything that goes along with this. Can society hold together? Killing most humans, very interesting thing, but it often has barrier to it. And here are 2 ones with some very interesting barriers. The Country of Ice Cream Star is about a town outside of Boston, I do believe, and anyone over 20 perishes. Like, everybody's already got the virus, it just doesn't kill you until you're 20. And Straight by Chuck Tingle, who's well known for his hilarious erotic fiction as well, is straight people turn into zombies, and so gay people in this world have to figure out how to survive as a society, just like World War Z, except with a very political way of putting things on it, or extinction level events. The World Without Us is written as a nonfiction book, kind of is in a way. What would happen if humans disappeared? What would happen to the earth, the animals, the air, and that kind of thought experiment. Also, After Man, hilarious one that I've seen cited as well by people doing Dungeons and Dragons games and stuff like that, is fake animals. Let's go there. There's no more humans. These things have evolved for a couple thousand years, and these are the animals that we would see post-human times for sure. So a trope brought up as well in my discussions before talking this and realizing there's a decent amount of them out there, and they often focus on guys in terms of no more babies. Now, we are going through a sterilization, I'm not going to say epidemic, but the decrease in the amount of sperm productivity in men worldwide has decreased by something, and I make up a number, 30% in the past 20 years. And it's quite alarming, and especially if we are continuing on this trend, we could find ourselves in a situation like Children of Men, where nobody is having babies anymore. And what do you deal with? The fact that all these people are here, you're having society, but there is no future to look forward to. The nihilism that comes in that case. You have a little bit more hope in a boy and his dog at the end of the world, but this is a sterilization of everyone. And so just kind of wandering through this society like The Road, except with much more hope involved as well. or Y: The Last Man. Great comic book, a bit dated for sure in its subject matter, from around 2000 or so, which was there's only one man left on Earth. Everyone else, female, they survived the pandemic. All males were killed. In here, we have moons, many moons. There's a surprising amount of moon ones. Nobody knows Neil Stephenson's Seven Eves. Super cool. Also kind of a bifurcated novel, with about 2/3 of it being this disaster epic, and then the final third of it or so being what society was created and pushing forward, but hundreds of years in the future. So the moon is up there, and the moon suddenly breaks into pieces. So it breaks into 7, starts breaking into things. Asteroids start raining down on Earth, and how do we respond? It is world covering in how it is using all sorts of different character perspectives, what they're doing to survive this, and what they're doing as they're waiting for their inevitable end. Moonfall, well known as one of the worst movies of last year as well, actually does not involve the moon crashing into the Earth. The moon is a transformer. The moon is a giant space alien robot and is going to attack the Earth. Hilariously enough, not the plot of Transformers: Dark of the Moon, which is where the moon has a portal, and through the portal will come bad guys, and so the good guys have to destroy the portal that's been hiding on the moon for thousands of years. Once we're out in space, then you run into the asteroids. Lots of asteroid ones. Ooh, let me say this. Yes, AIP, thank you for mentioning that Doctor Who did that the moon is an egg. So asteroids, Armageddon is the classic one, but there were so many from that time period of the late 90s and the 2000s where we were waiting for the asteroid to come and just totally destroy Earth. Heroes plays so much into all of these different books where you're really going back to very different plots than most apocalyptic fiction. You are looking at someone who is the hero who can save us all. Arthur C. Clarke's The Hammer of God is a very interesting twist on this as well, to where they try to pull an Armageddon and blow up an asteroid that's coming at the Earth, and it doesn't quite work. It splits it in 2, and one of them goes flying off to the side, and the other one grazes the Earth, and they save the day. The Last Policeman is a kind of small apocalypse. It looks at, and this is similar to White Noise in a way as well, a family and what's going on with them. This is a policeman solving a case while the threat of an asteroid coming is happening. So with the backdrop of Apocalypse, a very small story. I'm gonna look at the chat real quick. I don't know if I'm missing anyone. 90s was big on disaster movies. Absolutely. So Aliens. And while we have our Chinese balloons in mind, for sure, don't forget The War of the Worlds. This is one where aliens attack, humans fight back, and similar to many other alien movies, they are allergic to water. Which, why would they invade a world that is 70% covered in water if you did not have the ability to protect yourself against water? All you need is Kill. In the middle is an amazing manga, and also was made into the movie Edge of Tomorrow. It is basically aliens attack. They're way overwhelming us, but through a quirk of fate, the character repeats a certain situation over and over until they get it right, which relates it to video games as well. But also being so overwhelmed by aliens, you do not have the chance to fight back. You have no hope of winning. And this is a little plot device to get it so that the humans and the human-centric way of doing things can win. Annihilation and the entire Southern Reach trilogy, and most of the oeuvre of Jeff Vandermeer about apocalypses, really. I do believe it is Born, a different one of his books that is about fungus people taking over the Earth, and so the humans are kind of relegated to second citizen status. Annihilation, in this case, is much more about an incomprehensible alien species. And it's small. It only is taking up one small part of, I'm going to say it's the North Carolina coast, but it is rapidly growing as well. And so everything inside mutates, gets destroyed, and changes into something that is definitely not of this Earth. So it's a very experimental and, new weird novel. Highly recommend it for sure, but it's quite abstract in how it looks at apocalypses. We did it to ourselves. Many examples of that are absolutely human caused. Florida, I believe, is what Anna says. I'm gonna think it was, but I'm not sure if it was the Florida coast.
Jeff Vandermeer lives in Florida, and
He
I
does.
think he said that and if you've watched the movie, the Southern Reach is in Florida in the movie.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah, when they show it on the map, it's like Florida.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Also Deep Impact, very good one for sure. The near miss. That's another one where they survive, correct, AP?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Yeah, in Deep Impact, it is a near miss. There is some destruction and like some people dying, but not everyone like it was going to be. So yeah.
Heck yeah. For sure. Day After Tomorrow as well. Let's get to the bunker and all of the disaster that goes along the way. Gerard Butler is in a lot of disaster movies. I think his most recent one was called Greenland, and that is an asteroid film. And everybody has to get to Greenland, and that's the only place where we will survive. In this kind of way of looking at it, we did it to ourselves. You go back to those nuclear fears, and I'm not going to go too much to the 50s and 60s American stuff. Very angsty in so many cases in that. But Narcissa and the Valley of the Wind, which is a Japanese film, amazing animation. The world has survived a nuclear holocaust, similar to Jeff Vandermeer's Annihilation. The only place left that has a plant life and stuff is supremely mutated. So we do things like use trilobites, which were a animal that went extinct out of the oceans, millions of years ago, and then use those as the basis for these animals moving forward. And so the protagonist has to try and save the mutated forests from corporations. So once again, humans are getting in the way. It's not just that you're dealing with a nuclear winter and a forest that wants to kill you. No, it's all these guys over here, a corporation that wants to raze it to the ground, which, could be the plot of anything. It didn't have to be the apocalypse. We have Death's End, and Death's End, the third one of the 3 body problem trilogy, has the entire solar system laid flat, absolutely destroyed, all in one stroke by aliens, because we kind of prodded them. We kind of let them know that we were here. And so I'm not going to put this in the category of alien attack or anything like that, because they just flicked their finger and absolutely decimated everyone, because this is an incomprehensible power. Now, on a totally different tip, and also with aliens, is Space Opera by Catherynne Valente, where a singer from a washed up singer from England must travel across space and time to compete in intergalactic Eurovision, and he has to make up a song and sing a song to save the Earth from destruction. If you are not a very good musician, then your planet gets destroyed. It is quite funny for sure. And also, as cited by Shannon when we were talking about this as well, I did try and look up time travel kind of apocalypses. Didn't find anything direct other than time travel disaster kind of horror movies that are low budget. There's a decent amount of those. But I did remember reading Elysium by Jennifer Brissett, and that definitely has some aspects to it. It's like the Earth starts off in a regular society in New York City, somebody going about their normal day, and through jumps back and forth in time, it is shown that way in the future, they're trying to get back and save society before an apocalypse happens. The apocalypse happens in the novel, but they're jumping back and forth. And did they cause it? Was it their fault? Totally up in the air. And a very abstractly written book. I'm going to definitely recommend Elysium by Jennifer Brissett for sure. Get to the wacky ones. This is the very end of my list. Thank you for sitting through my hilarious list, hopefully. 2 examples at the top are from Love and Robots, a series on Netflix of animated shorts, one of which is the world is taken over by sentient yogurt. And then to the side of that, The world is taken over by cats that have opposable thumbs. That's all they needed was opposable thumbs, and they were able to take over the world. Going back to our nuclear fears, there were so many awesome monster movies and stuff inspired by nuclear fears in the mid-20th century, for sure. Right here, an example, it's a poster for Them, which is giant ants who are trying to take over the world. But of course, Godzilla, Mothra, Gamera, all those Japanese films as well are very much about that as well. Exile is a thing, and there's definitely maybe better examples than this, and I did not do enough research, but I did find After Earth. And After Earth, Will Smith and his son have been exiled to another planet and are the basically only people, humans left Earth because we had destroyed it so much. We had messed with the environment, and so they had to get away. Nick Harkaway, The Gone Away World, is a very interesting and strange apocalypse where the world is cut through by pieces from another dimension. And so there are monsters inside of those, and some parts of the world are still normal. And so they have to negotiate, where do you go? What do you do? It's an apocalypse. It certainly is, but it did not kill all humans. It just got incredibly more dangerous than it was. And of course, and looking through internet images of contemporary Christian imagery of the rapture, I did find this: Space Jesus saving everyone. The rapture is a very early apocalypse and described in intense detail. The angels, the devils, what happens to the humans, the metaphors, the situations. It is hugely a gold mine for looking up things about the apocalypse that you can use for your imagery as well. In other religions, there are versions. It's not the same thing. But in Buddhist theology, I can say as well that there are several versions of what happens at different points with different worlds and when one goes away and another one pops up. But thank you guys for talking about apocalypses with me. I really appreciate that. And do you guys want to talk about what your apocalypses would be? What would you like to see as an apocalypse? Or we can definitely do a short little exercise first, which is to think about it as Genera. Yes. Hello.
I had to unmute myself. Okay, I don't understand that. To me, y'all just warped my mind with Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind. Sorry, that's childhood fantasy for me. I always just thought it was just another world and everything. Okay, how in the world is an apocalypse?
It is post-apocalyptic. So the world has been bombed to smithereens. The U.S. and Russia had destroyed life over most of the planet. And then that's how you get kind of a Mad Max situation of the deserts and stuff. And then anything that does live is mutated.
Okay. So it's like those were mutated. I just thought they were fuzzy little cute creatures.
I totally understand, but it's also the drawing style as well.
The apocalypses where we don't even really get a good explanation of what happened. We don't get, like, it's just treated as an afterthought. It's just like, well, this is the world now, right? Like Mad Max, I forget if in the original Road Warrior movie, if they try to explain the apocalypse, but it doesn't matter.
You're right, they don't.
Like we just jump straight to the shit show. And that's what I like in apocalypses. I don't necessarily want to watch it happening. I like watching the aftermath.
It's pretty rare that you'll skip it. A lot of times, they will go through. World War Z is an example as well of all the things that happen and showing maps and talking about, the deaths or the disease and how they're fighting it. But you are definitely right that there are some that just skip ahead. Cloud Atlas in the post-apocalyptic quarter of it in there is definitely not explaining any of it at all.
I feel like there's a lot of situations that are like science fiction or maybe sci fantasy where that's what they're doing, right? We jump to what appears to be an alien world, where we do Planet of the Apes for it, right? And it was us all along. And so we don't necessarily, like, I'd call it like soft apocalypse. I know that's probably not even the right term, but like soft apocalypse, in that like the apocalypse is just like a little flavor thrown in. at the end.
I think there's a difference between apocalypse fiction and post-apocalyptic fiction, and that might be where you're going, because the apocalypse as it happens, yeah, you definitely need to know what the cause of this apocalypse is, because it is current to the book's story. But true post-apocalypse means that it's already done. Like, you're starting after it's over.
Yeah.
Well, even on this very hard fiction, Seven Eves, the moon breaks up. That's like in the very beginning of the film, or the book. No explanation as to why the moon broke, but the moon is broken. We need to do something about this. Captain Russell, let me say this: did definitely notice that you had mentioned 2012. That's just the apocalypse novel I was thinking about when everyone's talking about Deep Impact. I keep getting mixed up between the two, but are you saying that is a non-explained one, or because I remember it as climate? Like, they're just like, oh, all of a sudden, the climate is going crazy, and we,
I think it was. Remember, there was, I think, some kind of big gravitational problem because the Earth was breaking in pieces. And if you remember, the scene I really loved the most was the one at Yellowstone where that crazy guy was forecasting the end of the world, and he was going to watch it from up there. So it was definitely ongoing as the movie. And of course, they were all trying to get to the spaceships that were, or these were big boats that they were going to have people climb into and be saved that way as the waters rose.
Yes, definitely. Like they were arcs, and then there was the place they were trying to get to in the Himalayas. Yeah. Right. Janera, if you are saying something, you are muted, just so you know.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
I was mumbling to myself and forgot I was muted, and I wanted to raise my hand first. I was like, how is still childhood? Transformers, Dark of the Moon, like, well, any Transformers, it don't matter to me. Like, that is technically apocalyptic, or it would be, wouldn't be.
Well, I love the thing that Shannon just brought up as well, which is you have apocalypse movies where the apocalypse is ongoing, and you have apocalypse movies where or the apocalypse has already happened. And then you have apocalypse movies where it's about to happen. And so that Dark of the Moon one was an example where it was like, this is, like the monsters coming from the moon is going to be, is going to destroy the Earth. Marvel Comics example would be Galactus. Galactus is always coming. He's a huge monster in the sky, and he's going to destroy the Earth. He never has, as far as I remember. But it's an apocalypse thing to say, okay, Galactus is coming. How does the Fantastic Four stop him from destroying the Earth? Because otherwise, then you could say that Armageddon is not an apocalypse movie.
There's so many out there.
They make for good popcorn, like, flicks, just because you can do the gigantic CGI destruction and like worry about that one tiny little ant-sized person and the whole thing. So I definitely understand the 90s was huge with them. I don't think we've seen as many after 2010, except for maybe 2012. That was such a big deal.
But we also get them, and they're not as popular anymore. I think The Rock did a couple, San Andreas, and which was I think there was a volcano in Los Angeles, but they just don't hit. They're not popular. Yeah.
I think maybe we have too many actual apocalypses going on for that to be a fun escapism the way it was. But also because it was 20 years ago, but like in film, that's only 20 years. Right. So I think it will come around again, as all things do. And we'll get back to it.
Like it's a seasonal thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just goes in cycles. We really overdid it at the end of the night.
I feel like a lot of the stuff that I've seen, and I'm not sure if this is a reflection of just me as a consumer, but I see a lot more apocalypse that is dark and more geared towards the horror versus the action adventure. So like Bird Box, I know a lot of people didn't like it, and I think it only came out on Netflix, but I've seen a number of people who, I know almost everybody in the world who has Netflix has probably watched that movie because it was like the number one movie they had on there for like 2 months. And that's one of those where it is where it's kind of goes to that whole thing. You don't actually know what's causing everybody to die because you never get to see it, because if you see it, it causes you to kill yourself. So there's not really an explanation of what it is, but the whole thing is it's supposed to scare the shit out of you the whole time. Like that is the shtick. It is scary because you never know when the person next to you is going to kill themselves in some flagrantly bizarre way. or if if you're putting yourself in the point of view of the characters where that might happen to you. So I don't know that I see as many like big blockbustery type things, but I see stuff where the apocalypse is supposed to frighten you.
M. Night Shyamalan just did that movie, The Cabin, or The Knock at the Cabin
Yeah,
Door.
Knock at the Cabin Door. I really want to see that, but I haven't yet.
Well, apocalypse horror, there's two examples right there where like you're mixing genres. We're talking about the asteroids and stuff like that. That is apocalypse / science fiction. Let's see, WG, you mentioned Titan AE, and while I remember that animated film and also very cool animation to it, I'm not sure if that's an apocalypse film. Do you want to talk about how the plot of that went? You don't have to if you don't want to.
I really don't remember it that well.
I can talk about it.
There we go. Is it apocalyptic?
It is. We open the movie on Earth is dying. Earth is I don't know if they give a great explanation for it, but it's like climate changey, and all of humanity is shooting off in these ships, including our protagonist. And so then throughout the rest of the movie, humans are out in space as like refugees, and so there's not many of them, and he goes and finds a planet Genesis that they create new Earth. I don't know if I would call it apocalypse or even post-apocalypse, because we're not really dealing with like society and how they're reckoning with it, because there's nothing left, right? Like you only have like one survivor. And so I guess that could be post-apocalyptic, but like no one else around them is living in an apocalypse. It's just the humans escaped it.
It's an exile.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of an apocalypse, but like After Earth, you're not seeing the apocalypse. You're just dealing with what fragment of humanity survived, for sure. Mm-hmm. Heck yeah. Well, we were right about at the end of 2 o'clock, and I do right about at 2 o'clock, and I do hope you guys got some good ideas for all my apocalypses for sure. Thank you guys so much for coming to Writer's Lunch this week and enjoying the apocalypse with us all, and have an apocalypse novel in sight. Think about it, because they'll come back around and they'll be cool, so you'll have to be working on it now for whenever that ends up happening again. Thank you guys so much.